Hey there, welcome to the Teen Hero Tinkers channel. I make ball-joint adult and craft-related content, and this is Spain Blog 2. I realized that I have an insane amount of footage from the first 4 days, and I still have 4 days to go because of travel. So we're going to just split this up. Tomorrow we're going to go to Pablo's hometown and visit there. And then we have one more day in Madrid when we get back, but we're not going to be in Madrid because we're going to be in Toledo, like Toledo, I don't know. Mostly so we can say Holy Toledo, like that's the whole point, I think. Yeah, welcome to Spain Vlog 2. Packing a bag for the train. Also, half of this footage will probably be filmed on my phone because for the first couple days in the touristy areas on the first vlog, I think you can really tell what was filmed on my camera versus what was filmed on my phone. I don't know. We'll see when I edit, especially because I don't have stabilization on like anything. Send help. It doesn't feel super embarrassing to have like a full camera out like in touristy areas. Like when we go to Toledo, I'm probably saying it wrong. Toledo will, I'll have my camera, probably like around Pablo's hometown, I'll have my camera, but in public areas and walking around shops, probably just my phone. So right now we're going to walk around some of the shops. We've peeked into some of them and gotten a couple souvenirs and all of that for some family members. Really like looked into a lot of them, and we've only like briefly walked down Gran Via, so that's where we're going to be. We might pop over and see some like additional monuments and things as well, but yeah, we'll see where the day goes. Also, to my vegans in Madrid or Spain, if you are in Madrid, please eat here. Holy moly. Freedom Cafe is so good. We have this giant sticker because they did not have our croissants and they sent us cinnamon rolls instead, which sounds like a bonus, but their croissants are, I can't even describe them. But anyways, if you're here, eat here. Like low-key, even if you're not vegan, this place is absolutely incredible. This day was basically what is our shopping day. We hadn't really gone into any of the shops at this point, and honestly, we still didn't really buy a whole lot, but we actually got to kind of explore some of the really cool candy stores we walked by, including this one. We walked down Gran Via especially because we had seen some of the like smaller shops with Pablo, but we hadn't really walked down Gran Via, although in the end, the only kind of interesting one was Primark, which was, again, another enormous department store, but we don't have these in Canada. And everything was really affordable, so it was fun to look around here. I ended up getting a jean jacket from here because I really needed a new one. It's a Canadian staple, if you didn't know, and I did not have one anymore. So yeah, that's this bad boy. Also got this bag for my kiddo. But they had a lot of really cute, nice quality stuff. I was a little jealous we didn't have one of these. The rest of the shops on this strip were basically like Zara, Uniqlo. It was stuff we had, so we dipped off the main path. Okay. After a while, we dipped off the main path and went for lunch with Mr. Tinker's friend from the other day. Before continuing our shopping kind of on the off streets, not directly on Gran Via, this was the Alley Hop. These are everywhere, and honestly, this is maybe one of my favorite shops I encountered in Madrid. This is one of the shops where I would just go to, like, kill time. Like, it's very fun. Things are interesting, cute. It was really fun to walk around and look at. Also, street performers everywhere, but, like, not the kind of street performers I've seen in places in the US. A lot more, like, costumed characters, like, and really good costumes. I don't know. It was pretty cool. On the way back to the hotel, we stopped at Freedom Cakes again. This time for snacks and gelato. After dropping off our purchases, it was time to head to the train station. Again, this had us walking through a part of Madrid I hadn't been through before. At this point, we've been through all of the major neighborhoods, like we had kind of saved this section knowing we'd be heading to the train station. There was like a little market going on, and there was like kids playing soccer. Mr. Tinkers got to have a moment where he played soccer in Europe with some kids. Like, it was very quintessential. Then we got to go through the train station, which was a nightmare a little bit. It was super busy and everything was in Spanish. So I was really glad I had that 3.5 months of Duolingo under my belt and we could figure out where we were going. It was a 2.5-hour train ride, and I spent it basically knitting and doing a little bit of like sculpting practice for dolls. Okay. It was a 2.5-hour train ride, and I basically spent it seeing the countryside out the window, which was really nice until it got too dark, knitting and doing a little bit of sculpting practice. We are in our hotel in Sevilla, and we are just waiting for our food, and Pablo's train was at a different time than our train, so we're just waiting for him to get here from being off his train. And then I think we're going to go for a walk and see an aqueduct. I don't know, but also, it has just occurred to me, I did not tell you why we were on a train or where we were going. We were going to Sevilla. It was a lot warmer here, and it's also the city where Pablo lives. So he was kind of showing us around his hometown. These were the Roman aqueducts. And honestly, again, amazing. Like, seeing so many old buildings, like, still standing, and also, like, somehow so clean, like, wild. It was like midnight at this point, so we just basically walked around the block. Pablo showed us his studio, and I was shooketh by, first of all, how cute the space was and how much I wish I could have a space like this at home, like a little commercial space like this. But also, I was also being driven a little mad with like the need to organize, which I did get to do the next day. So that was very nice, I must say. Okay, this is the next morning. We were just waiting for our coffee and donuts. I think there were like 70 vegan-friendly restaurants in Madrid and maybe like 2 or 3 in the part of Sevilla we were in, at least on this day. After we got our bag, we walked over to Pablo's studio, and I just wanted to show you some of the walk to again emphasize how walkable, like, and bike-friendly the city is. And the other thing that blew my mind, I haven't really mentioned much, is that there are fruit trees absolutely everywhere. Like, Canada could never. Like, that would be giving people free food, and that would probably be a problem, you know? Like, anyways, here's Pablo's studio after I attacked it for an hour and a half while we were talking and organized it. And I was much happier with the appearance of his shelves after that. We also filmed a couple of videos during this time. We filmed a podcast episode. So there's going to be more content coming out from this visit. After about 1 o'clock, we headed out so we could go to more the city center of Sevilla. At this point, I thought Sevilla was just like a nice, like, kind of large city. If you're from Canada and you've been to Ottawa versus Toronto, that's basically the comparison I was kind of making in my mind. But my world was about to be absolutely shooketh. Do people say shooketh? I don't think so, but that's okay. But, you know, not as shooketh as I was from Mr. Tinkers asking if he could drink the water from every fountain we walked by. And Pablo continuously telling him that he will die if he does that. So
I don't think that's very healthy.
no, you can't drink the fountain water.
You probably would get...
No, you...
Why are you trying to litter?
I'm just going to stay here in the park. I'll eat the fruit from the trees.
It smells chlorinated.
Yeah, but that is not a reason to drink it. That's like, can I drink
that
cool
one's
water?
kind of green, but this one looks clear.
Pablo, what's this park called?
Parque del Prado.
Thank you.
San Sebastián.
Okay.
San Sebastián.
Like Sebastian?
Yeah, Sebastián. How do you say Prado in English?
I-
Really?
Okay.
So how-
Like town or whatever?
No, it's like more of the forest.
Oh.
Be careful.
This was one of the buildings or the monuments that Pablo was really excited to show us. Now, I didn't film walking in because there was a bunch of school children, but I started filming kind of going around the corner. And at this point, I'm thinking, wow, this place is so beautiful. I get why he wanted to show us this. But then we walked through like these gates. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Did you see why I wanted to show you this?
Yeah, that's beautiful. What
Good
the
thing
hell?
your mom yelled at you.
I think my heart fell into my stomach. Like, I have never seen, like, the video is not doing it justice. I have never seen a place this beautiful ever. They also filmed, like, some Star Wars here, I think in episodes 2 and 3. I'm not sure. I'm not a big Star Wars buff, but my husband was super excited, so he went to go take pictures. But yeah, I think this was the most beautiful thing I saw the entire time I was in Spain.
I wanted you to see is this place.
It's
because for me,
amazing.
this is like the most beautiful.
Like, if you're having a bad day, or if you're like just wanting to enjoy the sun, you can just go here and just like sit on the steps and just like look at this. Are you kidding me? Like I'm still in awe watching the footage back. I thought this place was incredible. I'm going to be dreaming about this place. Like, look how the sun is glittering off the water. There were like people playing music in the square. Like, I guess it's a circle, but I couldn't deal with how beautiful this was. At this point, I knew like this is going to be the most incredible part of the trip. Like, I could not handle how amazing this was. Okay, so I think this was Jardins Alcarez, and there was like ducks, and there was I don't know, there was a lot going on. There was people on horses, there's people like roasting chestnuts. There was a lot of really cool old buildings. Again, more fountains. Mr. Tinkers made comments about drinking out of, like, oh, that's so, what the heck are you? Duck?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so pretty. These are ducks. Like, that is the wildest looking duck I've ever seen. I mean, they're wild ducks, but I'm very used to just the standard mallards and brown ducks, but you know, they were super duper cute. Everywhere we walked by, I was like, can I just sit here and look at how beautiful everything is for like 10 minutes? But our guide, aka Pablo, had different plans. He wanted to show us so much of his home city, and at this point I was understanding why, because there's literally so much to see and so much beautiful things. I was calling this the ADHD speed tour. We would basically see things as we speed walked through them, and he would kind of point at things and I would be like, wow, that's amazing, and then we would immediately be moving on. I'm going to make a comment on the vlog about how every time I stopped to look at something, our tour guide was joining.
Yeah, that's why you need the flag.
I wish we could stop at every like small, like I don't see that.
You're just giving us the teaser so we come back.
Yeah, this is what could have been. Pablo was like, okay, I know we want to stop, but there's so many things I want to show you. And like, I completely got where he was coming from, because like, as the day went on, it was like every single thing we saw was just like another amazing, beautiful thing that I'm so glad I didn't miss. Again, Sevilla was also extremely walkable and like beautiful. Like, every corner, like every like turn in the road, like between like the stonework in the streets and like the buildings around you, the gardens, like there was never not something to look at that was beautiful. Also, this like goat deer thing scared the heck out of me. It fully scares me. Oh.
Let's go.
Okay.
Grab a drink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a spot right here.
Can't you just look at yourself with a?
I feel like I'm so red.
It feels like I can move so
Pablo was
fast.
bringing us to something he was calling the mushrooms, and at this point I was picturing like stone mushrooms. I don't know what I thought was happening, but it was not at all what I expected. I'm afraid of heights.
I'm extremely afraid of heights, but like
We're
so worth it.
we're facing our fears together today.
Yeah.
The mushrooms are basically these giant wooden mushrooms that you climb up on, like via stairs, not via actual climbing. And I really had to face my fears because I am so afraid of heights. It's not even funny. And I did kind of feel like throwing up the whole time I was up here, but the views were like next level. It was so gorgeous. And again, I am so glad we were able to have that experience. So at this point, it's probably about 4 or 5 o'clock. The sun is starting to go down a little bit. It's less hot, which is nice, but um, it kind of meant that we had seen everything Pablo had wanted to show us really badly, and we were able to see some of the nice to see type things, which meant walking by a few more of the shops and actually getting to kind of poke our heads in some of them. I didn't buy anything. There wasn't really anything I wanted, but we basically like circled Sevilla and then came out the other side, like at this amazing park. Like, are you kidding me with this view? That's sun behind the bridge.
Wow.
Wow.
Rude.
No, it looks really nice on camera. I can't look at it in real life. I'm going to burn my eyeballs, but it was like bittersweet because Pablo was telling us all the amazing things that like we could be doing, but we weren't doing because we were only there for a day. And I was kicking myself for only being there for a day and not scheduling more time. But, you know, hindsight is everything, I guess. At this point, I'm also getting low-key a little sad because I know that this is the last day we're going to see Pablo. And like the end was coming, the sun was setting. We had to get on our train back to Madrid. Oh, it was really sad at this point. Every now and again, one of us would remind the other and get really sad about it. But yeah, we took the train back to Madrid and I was sad and I was really tired and I was really hungry. And yeah, we got some food and then basically crashed out because this was our second to last day in Madrid. Also our anniversary, which we completely forgot about while we were there. But you know, being busy will do that. All right, next morning, we finished off the fruit we had got and had some toast and coffee because we were spending our very last day in Spain in Toledo. Now, this is the first thing we did that was like super touristy, like with a tourist group. We were on this bus and everyone else on this bus was way older than us. There may have been maybe one other couple that were like under 55 or 60, but the group was largely elderly people. I don't know if I was expecting that, but I guess it kind of makes sense. The economy is really rough, and it's hard for a lot of younger people to afford vacations, especially at the same rate that older people can. So I guess that. It was about a 1-hour bus ride to Toledo, and this is where you kind of saw some more of the outskirts and some of the like less old buildings. We saw some different kinds of houses. I also thought it was really cool that a lot of the roofs on a lot of the houses we saw were like a clay or red. There wasn't a lot of the same black roof you see over and over and over up here. So again, it's just nice for a literal change of scenery. Okay, so we're starting to pull up to Toledo here, and our bus basically did a circle around the city first and kind of explained what Toledo was and like how old it was, like some stuff like that. It was kind of cool though, because as we were coming into the city, we were kind of slowly entering Toledo. So the areas kind of got older and older as you got towards city center and to where we were going to take our like panoramic videos and pictures and stuff. So it was especially cool, I think, for Mr. Tinkers, who basically had no idea what we were doing or what Toledo actually was. I only knew because I booked the excursion and had an idea of what we were going to see, kind of. Yeah, it's that same feeling where every view just was more beautiful than the last, or like, I just felt like surprised constantly and just like in awe constantly. Like I can't even explain. Like if you come from Northern Ontario and you're like visiting a place like this, like the culture shock, but like also the visuals of everything is just so next level. I felt like, you know, in the game The Sims, when they see things they like when you put like a new picture in their room and they get like environment points. I felt like my environment points were maxed out. And yes, I am comparing myself to a sim. I don't know. That's how I think of it. But like, I feel like how could you live here and not be maxed out all the time? Or maybe if this is your normal, maybe then you come to a place that isn't as beautiful or maybe is differently beautiful, maybe. And you're just like, oh, what is this place? Like, I don't know. You'll have to tell me. Once we got into the city, we were able to walk around and do a walking tour. Now, our walking tour was only for a couple different monuments and kind of the entrance of the city and a bit of an overview. Our guide was really great and gave a lot of really good information. So we came up, we like walked through here. At this point, Mr. Tinkers and I realized in order to have our like radio headset work, we needed to get in front of people because, like I said, most of the people we were with were older, and Toledo is like, it's pretty steep. Like it's like walking up a 20 to 45 degree angle as you walk into the city center. So like the older people were having a hard time, and like no shade to them, that's okay. But because they were further back, it meant that we were getting pushed further back. And when you got more than like, I don't know, maybe 20 feet away from the guide, your radio just stopped working and we couldn't hear anything they said. So we ended up having to kind of be in the front most of the time, which made me feel bad because I was trying to like make space for older people, but also like I wanted to be able to hear the tour. So, you know. Into the city, we looked at our first monument from the outside, kind of talked about it a bit, and then we had our first break where we were able to just quickly go get a coffee or a drink or something. So Mr. Tinkers and I headed over like maybe 3 buildings down. We found this really cute cafe. They had soy milk for lattes, and we sat outside, and there was this like cat, like,
Oh, kitty.
Aww. Aww. Whose kitty are you? Whose kitty are you? I'll get you some food.
I wanted to take him home. He was so cute, but like he was a very well-fed cat. He was getting so much affection. Everyone was giving him like pieces of meat and cheese and stuff from their like little sandwiches, and I offered him some Biscoff, but he did not want it. Surprise, surprise, but he was super cute. Okay, so this is continuing on with the tour. Cathedral, but it was like a synagogue, and then like became a cathedral via Holy Wars. Again, I'm not fully versed on Spain's history, but I learned a lot about like different occupations and different like religions and cultures living all in the same place. Even though it was kind of told in a way that was very glossed over. When I Googled it later, I was like a little more horrified at some of this stuff. But you know, it's supposed to be a lighthearted tour, I guess. So yeah. The other monument we had a guided tour of was El Greco. So El Greco, famous painter from Spain. I knew this painting as soon as I saw it, and this is the original, and like, wow. Wow. Okay, so my one comment is, number one, not about the painting, but I have to say I strongly preferred Pablo's ADHD speed tour because like I just felt like this was beautiful, but I really didn't, like I wasn't absorbing any more information about this painting after about 2.5 or 3 minutes, and I was just like ready to go on to the next thing. Some people might really like to learn everything, but I think I was less in it for the history of it, and I just wanted to like read the things myself and explore. I love to explore when I travel, and that's what I wanted to do. Like, I mean, if you're not exploring, how are you going to see this monument built out of marzipan? By the way, the things besides Holy Wars, I guess Toledo is known for are marzipan, like swords and like swordsmithing. Oh, and this specific kind of jewelry that was like gold chiseled into steel, which I actually did get a necklace from here. It's really, really pretty. But yeah, anyways. Our tour guide brought us to this cathedral, and this was the biggest cathedral I'd ever seen. And at this point, I've now seen about 20 of them. I don't know. I feel like I've seen so many cathedrals since I've been here. We opted out of the cathedral tour. It was extremely amazing and impressive from the outside, but the cathedral tour would have taken about an hour, and pretty much everyone that wasn't us and the other young couple, like, did the cathedral tour, but I just wanted to explore, so that's what we did. But yeah, a lot of the streets were really, really windy, and they said, and our tour guide had described it as a labyrinth, and she was right, because it is so insanely easy to get lost in here. But yeah, we stopped and ate at Street and Soul, which is a vegan, like, street food, I guess. We had this Spanish dish called potatoes or papas. What was it called? Potatoes bravas or something. This was freaking delicious. So it's basically potatoes, some kind of garlicky cream sauce, and like a roasted red pepper, tomato, onion type sauce. And we also had shawarma. It was delicious. 10 out of 10. Then we just walked around. We poked into a bunch of shops. Again, I tried to not do all the touristy ones, but there was a lot of really cool stuff. So like the touristy shops here were different than the ones in Madrid, and they had different kinds of stuff. I really wish they had more like kind of witchy stuff, because there was like a whole thing about like brujas, I guess is witches in Spain, but there really wasn't a lot of that around. There was, however, a lot of this kind of like steel work, and again, like I said, swords, and there was like all this stuff from like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and all of that. At this point, we had to head back to the center of the city at the very tippy top of this friggin' mountain, basically, so that we could meet up with our tour group and bus back home. I have to say that if you are in Toledo and you accidentally walk yourself out to the edge of the city and then have like 40 minutes to work your way back in, you are going to be walking at a 45-degree angle. And it was so exhausting. Like I said, we've been walking like between 20,000 and 30,000-ish steps a day. But my legs were fine until after this day, because like walking on an uphill like that was hardcore. Okay, we took the bus back to Madrid. And we were there for about 4 o'clock. So we decided to do a little bit of walking around and shopping in like the one section of the city we really didn't get to look at yet. And of course, this is where all the cute doll stuff was. There were like miniature instruments. And then there was this shop. It was like a kid's toy shop. But like the toys in here were amazing. Like I ended up getting some socks and tights for my dolls in here. They were for this brand called Avi, but they will absolutely fit my slim MSDs. I was really excited about that. But just the dolls in here were so cool. There was like one that was like a dog. It was like a fluffy dog, but like an American girl. There were like baby dolls from that Avi brand that were like monkeys. And I thought I took a clip of them, but I guess I didn't. I don't know how I managed to not, but yeah, there was so much cute stuff in here. We also used this time to pick up the last minute like souvenir type things for family members. On our way back to the hotel, yeah, we had dinner from Freedom Cakes and went to bed around 9 or 10. But we had to get up for our flight at like 4 in the morning. So here's me at 4 in the morning. Like I look like I've slept 3 hours. And the roughest part is I got up at 3 in the morning local time. Our flight took off at 7 a.m. or like 6:50 a.m. local time. So yeah, we landed in Portugal like 8 a.m. local time. I had a little bit of a cry in the airport because there wasn't food and because I was really, really insanely tired. By the time we landed in Toronto, it was 2 p.m. Eastern time, which would have been like 8 p.m. in Spain. But then we had to drive 4 hours back home. So we didn't get home until like 7 p.m. So at this point, we've basically been traveling for 24 hours on 3 hours of sleep. It was a rough time. All in all, we were just really worn out from a really amazing trip. It was so much fun, and I would definitely love to visit Spain again. But for now, that is the end of this vlog. If you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're new here, I hope you like the content and consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day.